Good morning, guys, and welcome to my unboxing and review of the Master Grade Full Armor Gundam Blue Color version. This is the premium Bandai color variant of the Master Grade Full Armor Gundam from 2010. As far as I'm aware, this kit is based on the Master Grade ARC-78 II 2.0, and you just kind of bolt the armor on top of it, but because the base kit wasn't designed with bolting armor onto it in mind, this kit and its kind of base color version are, as far as I can tell, the only kits Bandai's ever made to use double-sided tape to attach the armor, which is a little off, and I think that might be the reason why the kind of base kit is so rare. It's very hard to find the base kind of army green color version of this kit, which was a standard release, by the way, that isn't being scalped for like 200 to 250% of what it should be, and that kit sells for, I believe, around $60 MSRP. But again, you really can't find them now for that price. I got this kit on Bandai for $56, which is actually cheaper than a lot of places are charging normally for the base version. And I think it's a pretty fair price what you get in the box, because you get a full ARC-78 II 2.0 Master Grade in there with the armor parts to go on top. Obviously, you don't have all the accessories to use with the standard ARC-78 II. You don't get the standard beam rifle or shield or hyper bazooka or anything, because the Full Armor Gundam has its own kind of loadout that it uses. As you can see here, the double beam rifle and the, I think, 360mm rocket launcher on the shoulder, along with all these missiles mounted in the armor. So with this being a kind of typical Bandai style box in a monochrome blue, which is the main color of the suit, as you can see, there's really not much to speak of on the outside of the box. Let's get right into it. This is a pretty standard size Master Grade box, at least length and width wise. It is a little thicker than normal. I was comparing it to the Jim Cannon Jabro Defense Force Redhead version. That kit, that box is a little thinner than this, so I'm expecting more parts in this than kind of typical. So starting with the manual here, we have kind of a almost standard style Master Grade manual, except it's in black and white. They had to skimp somewhere, which is a shame, because you have this very nice kind of spread of images on the back. Presumably these are reused from the standard Full Armor Gundam, but they just did it in black and white, so you couldn't tell that is the standard one, and you can just imagine that is blue. The color guide is here, all in text, unfortunately, and this is all in Japanese, because this kit, being a 2014 release, was made before Bandai realized that the West likes Gunplas not quite as much as Japan does, but enough to warrant translating things into English for the products released here. So getting into it, we have a rather large list of runners here, as you might imagine. There's a bunch of parts here, kind of grayed out on the runner list. Apparently these are supposed to be parts that you cut out, presumably that you're not going to use in this kit, because they're just parts from the original ARC-78 II that aren't going to make it into the Full Armor Gundam. So after that, it's a pretty typical Master Grade manual, of course starting with the core fighter, showing off the transformation mechanism, moving on to the body unit, or like the torso, the head and arms. Of course, you have this nice kind of, I guess, render showing off the armorless, like kind of an all-frame version of it before armoring it up. Then you, of course, you assemble the upper body, move on to the legs. Then you build the waist, assemble everything together. And then it looks like you will have the standard Gundam without all the extra armor parts first, which, again, is to be expected. I'm probably going to do a short segment showing off this version of the Gundam. I don't think I'm going to be doing articulation for it, because, again, if you're buying this kit, you're buying it to display it with the armor, not just to have a blue version of the base Gundam without any of the weapons. And then, of course, you build the weapons and armor, which is going to be the bulk of the weird parts of this kit. Unfortunately, it does look like we will have some rather large color-correcting stickers in this kit, which is always a shame to see. And yeah, it looks like you will be using tape on the inside of the armor to affix it to the Gundam, because, again, this kit doesn't really have any hard points or anything to mount the armor onto, so this was the solution they came up with, which I think is better to have double-sided tape than to require glue, like you saw with those Requiem for Vengeance high grades, like the Bandai Zaku 2 variants. That was disappointing to see. But again, like, I guess to the outside, it sounds like we're really spoiled in our hobby, because in other places, glue is just kind of the norm, and for us to be spoiled by having only push-fit stuff, it seems a little, I don't know, entitled, privileged, to be complaining about needing glue. But yeah, this is all pretty typical. Again, the double-barrel beam rifle, unfortunately more stickers required for it, and then we have the decal guide. So hopefully I'll see a nice sheet of Waterslide decals in here. Looks like it's just going to be a lot of kind of marking stripe stickers or decals, and like the usual EFSF logos. So inside the box we get 9 bags of runners, and in those bags, 20 runners, as well as Unfortunately, as I saw in the manual, an extremely large foil color correcting sticker sheet. Some of these parts you would expect to see, of course, like the eyes, some camera parts, you have some metallic kind of gold parts here, metallic red there, but these very large gray color correcting stickers, the white with the orange stripes, and these orange kind of cap parts, this is all very disappointing to see on a master grade, but we'll see how they look on the kit. Of course, you get a very nice set of water slide decals, always great to see. Rather large sheet, not quite as insane as something like the Master Grade Full Armor Gundam Thunderbolt Verka. If you've ever built that kit, you know the sheet on that's gargantuan. But yeah, this is quite a sizable sheet of decals. And of course, you get this, the double-sided tape that you use to attach the armor onto the Gundam. Yeah, so as I don't know if you can see that, but this kind of strip is segmented to a bunch of little parts that you attach onto the inside of the armor to kind of mount it onto the Gundam. We'll see how this fits. I don't know what really to expect from this because I've never used tape on model kits before. But yeah, we will see how this goes. But apparently, if you really like this kit and you don't want to use the tape, you can affix magnets to the armor and use those to kind of attach onto the base Gundam, which is cool. I'm not going to try that. It's just something that you should be aware of if you want to build this kit and you want to kind of treat it nicely. But yeah, getting into the runners themselves. Okay, so starting with the polycaps, we do have a quite small sheet of polycaps here from PC202. Because, again, the base kit that the Full Armor Gundam uses is the Master Grade ARC 78-2 2.0 from 2008. So yeah, that kit was still in an era where Master Grades were using polycaps. So you have this. From building the Master Grade Gem Sniper 2, a lot of these are probably going to be in the hips, because that's kind of where I remember them being on that kit. And as per usual, to use with the beam sabers, we do have SB1 here for our beam effects in 1/100 scale in a nice clear pink. Getting into the main runners themselves, the runner A from the original ARC 78-2 2.0, the Master Grade ARC 78-2 2.0. These runners were printed in January of 2025. This is a nice multi-color runner on 3 different colors. You see white here for things like the lower torso and parts for the core fighter. You have this nice dark blue here for the feet. And then you have orange for accent parts. You have like the scope on the rifle that we're not going to use. The Federation Cross for the shield that isn't in this kit. A bunch of like kind of panel details here. The V on the crotch. And then you have some other panels and the collar. Runner B is a very small runner here in this same kind of dark blue. That's the main tone of this kit, being the blue color variant of the Full Armor Gundam. You have parts here for, you see, the torso, the back here, and some additional armor parts. Runner C here in plain clear. This is going to be all of the clear parts used in this kit. You see things like the canopy for the core fighter. You see the head cameras. You see the eyes here, and then you have these 2 parts. I'm not quite sure what these are for. I assume these are for the core fighter in some aspect, because this very much looks like a tail fin of some kind, but I guess we'll find out when I build the kit. So to establish, to get some color accuracy on this kit, they do have duplicate parts of runners. You saw like those massive grayed out sections in the manual, because from these duplicate runners, we're not going to be using significant sections from one or the other. So we have 2 of runner D here, with the left section being duplicated in yellow. We have parts for the face mask here, the head antenna, the standing pilot figure, all in this very nice blue. But I assume for parts like the head antenna and stuff that we're going to want them in yellow. So we do have this duplicate runner for that. We also have some additional parts, I believe, for the core fighter over here. And we do have parts for the hyper bazooka, which we're not going to be using because the Full Armor Gundam does not use that. A very large runner E here, all in blue, still from the original Master Grade ARC 78-2 2.0. For a bunch of armor parts here, you see for the legs and arms. You see like the caps for like things like the ankles and elbows, and you have the skirt armor here. A smaller runner F for additional armor parts that aren't going to be in that nice blue. Instead, they're going to be in white here. You see parts for like the you see parts for the legs, like the kind of front and backs of the legs, the upper legs, and parts for the feet. Runner G here in a kind of primer frame gray for a bunch of inner frame parts. Runner H in a kind of primer gray ABS for much of our frame parts for this kit. Runner I still in gray ABS, as you can see from the very distinct kind of shine that the parts have. For more additional frame parts, you also have parts for the articulated hands here, and you have parts for the backpack. Runner J, still in that same gray shiny ABS for some more frame parts. You see parts for the waist here, and parts for like the thighs, and you have these kind of little piston details that you will see when you articulate the kit, which is cool. All right, finally getting into parts for the kit from the original Full Armor Gundam release from 2010, starting with Runner L here in this very kind of bright orange for a bunch of accent parts. You see parts for like the chest vents here, and parts like the missiles that are going to be within the armor, and of course you have the kind of skirt caps. And of course more duplicate runners, 2 of Runner M from the original Full Armor Gundam from 2010. Again, this is to replicate color accuracy more faithfully, even though we still have that gigantic sheet of color correcting stickers. 2 of Runner M, identical to each other, one in this very nice kind of main blue shade of the kit, and one in black. To replicate armor parts. You have parts for like the skirts here, you have the torso, you have the parts for the backpack, you have the shield that's going to make up kind of the outside of the double barrel beam rifle, as well as other armor parts. Once again, duplicate runners, 2 of Runner N here for additional armor parts, 1 in blue, 1 in black. You see parts for the feet, more feet armor, you have parts for the leg armor, and other armor parts. Runner O here, which is a little interesting. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but there does appear to be some like kind of sparkly injection parts, and what appears to be a kind of like a gunmetal color. This is going to comprise the parts for a lot of the weapons. You see the barrel here for the 360mm rocket launcher mounted on the shoulder. You have the magazine for the same rocket launcher. You have the barrels for the beam rifle. I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to look on the kit, because I don't remember really seeing these kind of sparkly, I guess, injected metallic gunmetal parts in other kits. And of course, last but not least, Runner P in that same kind of sparkly injected metallic gunmetal color, except the difference is it's even shinier because this is ABS. The other runner was in PS plastic, I believe. Yeah, this is going to be for some additional kind of frame parts that work inside the armor. I believe this is going to be the kind of base for the 360mm rocket launcher on the shoulder that the other parts layer onto. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this runner plays into it and how the armor parts look on the final kit. So with all those runners out of the way, I will see you after the build. Okay, welcome back. Here's the, well, not the Full Armor Gundam necessarily, but this is the Gundam without the armor on. This is just a quick update section. I haven't top-coated or decaled it up yet. I've just done some light panel lining. As you can see, there aren't really many opportunities to panel line on this kit. This is a very kind of simplistic design. The last 2 times I've built any of the like RX 78 kits, both of them were the real grade, the G3 Gundam, which I have a video on, and the real grade 2.0, which I don't, but it's a fantastic kit. So it's kind of weird for me to see this very simplified version of the RX-78-2, because while it's technically the FA-78-1, this base kit is literally just the Master Grade RX-78-2 2.0 with a different color scheme. So yeah, again, the surface details are very minimal. A lot of the detail you will be seeing on the actual armor. This is a very kind of simplified kit. You can really see it in the backpack with how like kind of few details there are there. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show off what this kit looks like without the armor. You really don't want to display it like this if you're buying the Full Armor Gundam. Like, again, it's the Full Armor Gundam. There's no reason to display it without the armor unless you have it in a diorama with it having like a purge the armor or something in like a last-ditch effort. Like the Full Armor Thunderbolt Gundam does in Gundam Thunderbolt. But I also do want to show off the Core Fighter here on that like dinky little stand. I think it's pretty cool that you can just, it just comes with a little stand to display the Core Fighter separately. And as you can see, you can just have the Gundam like just assembled without the Core Fighter in it. There is unfortunately no dummy core block to replace the Core Fighter with, so it's just hollow on the inside. As you can see, as you're hopefully able to see right there, it's completely hollow inside. There is no dummy core block or anything. I will be putting the Core Fighter inside of the Gundam. I will transform it because the connection from the torso into the waist, I don't know if you can tell, it's very flimsy without the Core Fighter in there providing additional support as another like kind of point of connection between the torso and the waist. It's just 3 like very thin little tabs that go into some slots on the inner frame part of the waist. So yeah, the torso pops off very easily. So I'm going to be very annoyed by that, so I'm just going to transform the Core Fighter, put it inside. So this is just showing you what that will look like if you do want to display it outside of the Gundam. Unfortunately also, you are missing pretty much all of the accessories that came with the Master Grade Gundam 2.0 without the armor. Really the only things it can use are the 2 beam sabers on the backpack. All of the weapons kind of clip into, or I guess the main weapon, the double beam rifle, clips onto the added armor on the forearm. So yeah. You can't really use it with the kind of base RX-78-2. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to put on the armor. I'll let you know how that tape holds it to the kit. I'm going to panel line the armor parts, I'm going to decal it, and I'm going to top coat it. So I will see you after that. All right, welcome back. Here's the full armor Gundam blue color version. The armor is fully assembled. It's been panel lined. I've applied most of the prominent decals, and I have top coated it with 2 layers of Mr. Hobby premium flat top coat. Just excuse if some of the decals on the back skirts look off. I think they got caught on something like mid application of the top coat, and I didn't notice, so they are sticking up from the plastic a little bit. But yeah, this was a interesting build. I really like the final product, of course. I am kind of mixed on it because while I really love the kind of appearance and aesthetic of this kit, some of the build I am really not too keen on the armor parts. Of course, the base kit, the RX-78, is identical to the RX-78 2.0, which is a completely fine and solid kit. Like, I'm probably not going to review that standalone on this channel, but it's pretty typical for a Master Grade in that it's fine. There are some very small annoying parts to deal with in the frame with the joints, but it all just kind of works, and when it's put together, it's a nice, solid build that's completely fine. Honestly, they didn't really need to make a 3.0. I might take a look at that, just to see what they changed about it. I know aesthetically it's based on the real-life Gundam statue, like the real grade was, so it in turn resembles the real grade a lot aesthetically. But in terms of the build, I'm not sure how much they could have improved between the 2.0 and the 3.0. Like, obviously things have improved since then, but the 3.0 only came out in, like, what, 2011? So I don't know how much it could have improved between 2008 and 2011. Anyway, now getting into the armor parts. Now, the big question you probably have looking at this kit is, how does the tape work? Because the base version of this kit has been out of print for so long that the GUNPLA wiki has it listed as discontinued. The big prevailing theory on that is because Bandai has problems with their double-sided foam tape supply. Building this kit and working with the tape, I'm very mixed on it. On some parts, like the torso there, it attaches to the chest with 2 pieces of tape, and it works perfectly fine. Like, it has not fallen off once, and it's completely, like, adequate. Same thing with the heel on the feet. The kind of black part that clips onto, or I guess, sticks onto the back of the normal foot is just using a single piece of tape. That is also fine, and it also has not fallen off. The front piece of the foot just kind of clips onto that back piece, so no tape for that. Where the tape really, and same thing with the side skirts, I forgot about that. That also uses a single piece of tape on the inside, just kind of slides onto the existing side skirt, just attaches, it adheres completely fine. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is very flush with the original armor, which is very nice. You don't really see the tape if you apply it right. And again, it looks fine, it sticks fine, and it's perfectly adequate for that. Where the tape really falters are on these kind of side caps on the knees. Those side caps, they use a smaller piece of tape that just sticks in the middle, and it's supposed to just kind of stick onto the inside of the kneecap on the base RX-78, and it just doesn't do it. It just kept falling off no matter what. I would pick up the kit and one of the caps would fall off to the floor, and I would be on my hands and knees for like 10 minutes looking for it. I would find it, I would stick it back on, and then it would fall off 30 seconds later. The tape does not work for those. I just ended up plastic cementing them in place because, again, I am never going to be taking the armor off. I bought the full armor Gundam. I'm going to use the full armor on the Gundam. But yeah, if you manage to find a reprint of this kit, because again, the base kit just hasn't been reprinted, I would definitely plastic cement these caps in place if you want to keep your sanity. Also, a side note, while I was testing the articulation on the head, the antenna, the kind of head crest that holds it in place, snapped. Like the peg just completely broke off from the main piece. So I plastic cemented that back into place. So if I seem a little hesitant while I'm testing the head articulation later, just know it's because I do not want to snap that crest off again. It was very annoying to get it back on and looking like mostly okay. I don't know if you noticed, but I just realized one of the parts on the back of the foot was upside down, so I just fixed that real quick. So getting into aesthetics, this is where this kit really shines. I love the MSV Full Armor Gundam design. It's a spoiler, I guess it's fair warning, I might be a little biased, but I think this is probably one of the best kind of armored up Gundam designs they've ever made. They really nailed it this first time around because, again, they've done it plenty of times. Like, you see it with like the Alex, the Dual Gundam Assault Shroud, both of which we'll take a look at later compared to this kit. You see it with stuff like the Virtue, you see it with, again, the Barbados 6th form that I took a look at a few days ago. You see it with the Thunderbolt Gundam, that got a full armor version. You see it with the Gundam Age, etc., etc. They have done this kind of concept many, many times over the years, and none of them quite do it like this, because as you can see, the extra armor is very kind of subtle. if you weren't aware that this was a full armor kit, you just kind of looked at it, the only real parts that kind of give away that this is an extra armored kit are the kind of extra white parts on the torso and shoulder, and maybe these extra thrusters in the legs. Apart from that, the general silhouette and I guess body shape of the ARC-78 is preserved with the armor on, which is very interesting. Like, if you know it's fully armored, like, yeah, you can take note of the bulked up areas, the extra kind of layer of armor on things like the skirts and the torso, but again, like, it's a lot more subtle than a lot of the other implementations, and I think it's really unique and cool for doing that. Like, I absolutely love this design. The extra cannon on the shoulder gives it a more unique silhouette as compared to a standard Gundam, and I think it definitely shines. Do note, I did kind of try to paint it using a metallic gunmetal Gundam marker. It looked fine until I top coated it, and then it looked not fine. It would look really, this kind of tarnished, splotchy look would look really good if I had weathering, if I had any weathering solution on me. I don't, unfortunately. So we're stuck with this kind of splotchy version. But yeah, the color scheme is also very interesting because, as you can see, a fully colored Gundam head is a little odd. Normally it's just in white with a splash of the primary color, whatever color scheme the Gundam is using in that moment. But in this case, the entire head is blue, which is, again, I think it's unique to the full armor Gundam. You saw it with the standard color scheme again, where it's in that very nice armor green, or that very nice army green that I like a lot more than this blue. But the blue still looks quite nice. Now, you do get quite a few extra parts in this kit, so you can make a semi-custom color scheme out of box without needing to repaint anything. A lot of these armor parts you can swap out for kind of a dark gray variant of it, the same that you see on like the feet here. And if you do that, you really won't need these very large stickers on the shin armor. And for parts like the head, you can completely, like, you can just have the head in yellow if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you can. You have extra parts for it. Yeah, aesthetically, this kit's very unique. It's very interesting. I'm pretty sure it's entirely color accurate. A lot of the geometry, like what I said about the kind of base, ARC-78 the Master Grade 2.0, being very simplified, it kind of goes out the window with this kit, especially with the decals on. It's very highly detailed. There's a lot of interesting geometry here, especially with these kind of white accents on the arms. Again, these are stickers, but you can paint them in. A lot of the interesting details on the legs, these kind of thrusters in the back, all of these vents poking out the side, very kind of Alex-like. These orange accents on the kneecaps, the stickers on the ankle caps, all of it's like really cool, and I really like it, and it definitely helps differentiate itself on the shelf. It doesn't have as much presence as some of the other armor kits, but I think the unique appearance and the uniqueness of the subtlety of the added armor definitely are points in this kit's favor, and definitely would make it a unique addition to anyone's collection. So quickly getting into where I use the color correcting stickers. So I did end up using most of the stickers on this sheet. I was going to do more painting, particularly these parts on the shoulders and these parts on the legs I was just going to paint in, but some real life stuff came up and I didn't have time to do that in time to get this review out. So, of course, starting with stickers 1 and 2, you have the head cameras on the front and the back. Normally these would be very shiny metallic style stickers, but like foil stickers, but this kit doesn't really have those. They are more subdued. They're still metallic, but they're just not like very reflective like they are on a lot of other kits. Sticker 3 I did not use. It's for this head crest. It's just an orange off the runner. I painted it in with a red Gundam marker, and then I used a red metallic marker on top to give it a kind of semi-metallic shine that was pretty much lost after I top coated it. If you're going to top coat it with flat top coat, don't use the metallic. It's just a waste of paint. Sticker 4, of course, is going to be for these black and gold eye stickers. Of course, this is really nice, and I did not mask these off when I top coated it. I think this kind of muted sheen that these metallic stickers get after you top coat with matte or flat top coat looks a lot nicer on this kit than it would be if they were just very shiny and reflective like they are off the sheet. Sticker 5 is for this kind of red under eye section here. That part is just in gunmetal. You can just put the sticker over it. Sticker 6 is going on the backpack for this camera piece to help it aim the rocket cannon there. Stickers 7 and 9 I did not use. They are for these white parts on the torso. These are pretty much, apart from the head crest, the only parts I like painted for color accuracy on this kit. These are just in blue off the runner. And the sticker is like a white wraparound sticker with an orange stripe down the middle. These orange stripes are water slide decals, and they look really nice. I would definitely recommend you paint the color inaccurate parts on this kit, especially because they reprint this so infrequently that it's probably worth the extra effort at who knows when's the next time you'll be able to work with it. Sticker 8 is for this this white trapezoid on the torso with these small black rectangle details there. Of course, this entire kind of blue body section on the upper torso is just one big molded blue part. Stickers 10, 11, 12, and 13 are these white small trapezoid, I guess white accents on the lower torso. Again, this lower part is also one big blue molded thing. Molded part with separate parts for the door, the cockpit door in the middle. Sticker 14 you get 2 of, and they are these big white wraparound stickers for the shoulders. Of course, this red stripe is a water slide decal. Again, these are separate parts from the kind of base extra shoulder armor, so again, very easy to paint in. I would definitely recommend you do that. I just didn't have the time. Sticker 15 you get 8 of, and they are for these small elongated baseball diamond looking white accents on the extra forearm armor. You get 2 for each side, for a total of 4 per forearm, 1 for each arm. Sticker 16 and 17 are on the double barrel beam rifle. For these kind of gray parts where the shield kind of clips into the handle / trigger. Of course, you get 1 for each side. Stickers 18 and 19, you get 2 of each. They are these gold metallic accents on the knees. Sticker 20 you get 2 of for the gray parts on the side skirts. Again, this is another part you should probably paint in. I found these stickers in particular tend to peel up very easily. Sticker 21 you get 2 of for these very large gray wraparound sections. Of course, this front piece of shin armor is all just one big molded piece of blue. Again, this is a raised geometric detail, so it's easy enough to mask off and just paint in gray. And sticker 22 you get 4 of for these orange kind of ankle armor cap stickers. Again, it's not super hard to just put some orange paint in there and then just panel line in the details afterwards. So yeah, overall, lots of color correcting stickers, and a lot of them are for color accuracy, and there are parts that, to be honest, frankly, I would not really expect on a master grade because, again, it's master grade. It's supposed to be mostly color accurate out of the box. A lot of the added parts on the armor is kind of egregious. I would expect this on a high grade. This is pretty disappointing. And if I didn't like the design so much, I would definitely not be as much a fan of the kit as I am. Of course, for a size comparison, here it is next to a standard size high grade, being the high grade Blue Destiny Unit 1, and a standard size master grade, being the master grade Gym Sniper 2 White Dingo team. As you can see, being the RX-78, even with the added armor, it doesn't really add any extra height outside of the cannon. So of course, this is going to be average size master grade, so about 8 inches tall. Just keep that in mind. If you have a standard size master grade, it is going to take about that much space on your shelf. And of course, for a quick visual comparison, here it is in between 2 other primarily blue colored extra armored Gundams. Of course, the master grade dual Gundam with assault shroud on the left. Just letting you know, this was one of the first master grades I ever built, so if things look sloppy or off, sorry, this is one of the first things I ever built, so my application of stickers was pretty bad, and I did not top coat that at all or anything, and my panel lining was also pretty sloppy. I think it was either the first or one of the first kits I ever panel lined, so yeah, things are going to be a little off on that. And of course, we have the master grade Alex 2.0 on the right, and side note, the master grade Alex 2.0 is one of my favorite kits of all time. It's just so good. If I keep doing these for a while, I might end up looking at another one just so I can display a second one in the base form without the Trombe armor. But yeah, this is just a quick visual comparison to kind of emphasize the point that the kind of subtle application of the extra armor on the MSV full armor Gundam is unique to it. A lot of times when Gundams get these extra armor, they are very much radically changed in terms of their silhouette. The Alex is the most predominant kind of example of this because the base Gundam is pretty similar to the RX-78 too. Of course, there are several differences, but the overall silhouette and aesthetic it's going for is very similar. And look at how different it looks with the Trombe armor. It very much looks like this is just a bunch of extra crap they bolted onto it, and it has comically bulbous proportions compared to the MSV full armor Gundam, where it looks like the armor was developed with the armor in mind. And then of course you have the dual Gundam assault shroud over here, which is in very typical kind of cosmic era fashion, very over the top with a lot of extra angles and a lot of extra geometry, especially with that large booster on the backpack, the enlarged shoulders. It's kind of blocked by the I think this is called the Diabolga or whatever. It's the Kukulkan spear, but yeah, there's like that extra shoulder like missile pod there, like. a lot of this is just to show off, like, aesthetically. This full armor Gundam is very unique, even despite being the kind of first of its kind. I'm not sure if the Alex Triple Armor came first. I don't know when the MSV manga came out. But yeah, this is just a quick visual comparison between two other similarly armored Gundams with a blue color scheme. Here's the Master Grade MSV Full Armor Gundam blue color version with all of the accessories it comes with. As you can see, not that much. A lot of the accessories on this kit are just on the kit itself. It can hold everything it comes with, and it looks certainly a lot more impressive when it does so. You'll see that in the posing section. But starting, of course, with the hands, these are the only hands you get. It's the same, if you've ever built something like the Zaku 2 2.0 Master Grade, it's the same hands. The fingers are split into thumb, index, and then the other three fingers, all with separate ball joints at the base, and there's a second point of articulation in the middle of the finger. Unfortunately, the furthest kind of finger joint is stuck in a permanently slightly curved in position, so it will look a little awkward, but certainly a lot less so than hands like the Master Grade Astrays that only have one point of articulation and are permanently very curved. Of course, you get two standard 1/100 beam effect parts for your beam sabers in clear pink. The beam sabers are stored on the back skirt while the armor is on. These are just the same beam sabers you would have seen on the Master Grade Arc 78-2 2.0, but in blue. You get this very simple small shield mounted on the left forearm here with a very nice water slide decals you can see. Again, this just kind of clips onto the side. I hesitated to even really call this an accessory because why would you ever take this off? Because it's so small, it doesn't really get in the way. There isn't really a reason to not have this on the arm. Of course, you're going to get a standard action base adapter to help get into any kind of aerial pose. But again, being both a one-year War Era suit and a full armor Gundam, well, the full armor Gundam, it looks much better on the ground. You get two standing pilot figures, unfortunately, in very typical kind of mid-2000s Master Grade fashion. These do not have bases, so they can't really stand up without extra help or something to lean on. Of course, these are two kind of generic Earth Federation pilot figures. They are identical to each other, just because the runner they came on is one of the duplicated runners for the head antenna, one in blue, one in yellow. And of course, you have the main weapon of this kit, the double beam rifle. This is in several components, of course. You have the kind of barrels of the beam rifle itself that are on joints, so that the barrels can fold up to the sides of the shield when they're not in use. Of course, the actual shield part that clips on the outside is a separate part with this very nice Earth Federation cross and kind of emblem here. And then the actual handle that the Gundam grips onto is, of course, a separate piece that just kind of clips onto the shield. And there is some articulation here where the handle can kind of swivel a little bit to assist the Gundam in firing at different targets. And then, of course, you have the extra backpack here, which I'm not really sure if this counts as an accessory because you're just going to have this on the kit at all times. But yeah, it just adds some extra bulk to the backpack. You have this targeting sensor on the Gundam's left, and then on the Gundam's right you have the 360mm rocket cannon. Unfortunately, no molded ammo on the inside, but this can rotate down to pose at firing. Unfortunately, with the position it's on over the shoulder, it will collide with the antennas if you don't either swivel the head out of the way or swivel the gun when you articulate it. Speaking of articulation, starting with the head, it can look up quite far. It can look down not super far, but far enough to give a kind of mean glare. It can rotate 360 degrees. I'm not going to do that right now because, again, this head emblem is held on by a couple drops of plastic cement, and I do not want to snap these off because it looks very awkward. As you can see, the antenna's kind of loose in there. For the shoulders, then, you will get a pretty decent forward swing, considering the extra bulk added on by the armor. This joint will slide out to facilitate that. You get a slight swing backwards, but nothing really to write home about. Of course, the shoulder can rotate independently of the arm. It can swivel up there to facilitate the arm raising. Yeah, just be careful because the armor does pop off quite easily if you do that. Rather unfortunately, the most you're going to get out of this kit, at least unless I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, the arm keeps popping off if I try to force it, so I'm just going to say that you get a little more than 90-degree bend. Again, I might be doing something wrong. If I am, just let me know. Of course, you get rotation in the upper bicep, a full 360-degree spin as you would expect, double joint in the elbow, gives a full 180-degree bend, or almost, before it collides with the shoulder armor. As you can see, there is some nice kind of inner piston detailing when you bend the arm, and and the elbow cap just kind of remains there. Of course, the wrist is going to be on a ball joint hinge combo, so it will do ball joint things in addition to, I don't remember what the exact word, flexion and extension, for the wrist to kind of pivot in and out. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the fingers are separated into thumb, index, and then the other three fingers. They have a point of articulation kind of connecting to the palm, and they have a second point of articulation midway through the finger to assist in more kind of realistic gripping poses. In the torso, there is a kind of joint that does swivel at the hip. It will not give you 360, but it does give you about 45 degrees in either direction pretty comfortably. Ab crunch, as you might expect. Forward crunch, there's pretty much none to speak of. This armor will collide with the waist armor, the kind of enlarged iron diaper from the armor, very quickly. Like, there is pretty much no articulation there. Back articulation, you get a slight crunch, again, extremely limited. A lot of if you want an upward firing pose, a lot of that you're just going to get from rotating either the cannon or aiming the arms up with the double barrel beam rifle. Of course, these kind of shoulder parts, or these upper torso white parts, will raise up and reveal the 3-tube missile pods held within. The cockpit door can be opened. It's kind of hard to do. Yeah, I can't really get that open right now, but just take my word for it, that can open up. And you can slide the inner cockpit door underneath the armor up to reveal the core block within. For the waist then, the front skirts are on separate ball joints. It is kind of hard to get them to articulate without popping them out, either the outer armor from the inner skirt or the skirt from the ball joint, because it is kind of a little loose. But yeah, you can get about 90-degree rotation upwards on those. For side skirts then, yeah, see, this pops off very easily. You will get at most about 45 degrees before it pops off. Back skirts, or similar story to the side skirts. Unfortunately, with the armor on, the beam sabers will be blocking articulation of the back skirts. Okay, so I'm not sure if that was going to make it in the video, but as you might have noticed, when the side skirt fell off, the actual tape holding the outer armor onto the kind of protruding section of the original side skirt actually held. It was the plastic clip that popped out, so yeah, so articulating the front skirts is a little difficult without it popping out. I wouldn't recommend it. Again, they have these kind of extra kind of tabs to kind of meld seamlessly with the crotch armor, so I don't think these are supposed to be articulated all that much. But for front kicks, before the front skirts pop out, you will get about 90 degrees. For side raises, you will also get about 90 degrees before the side skirts are going to want to pop off. For back kicks, you will get about 45 degrees. So again, this is all pretty average articulation-wise. Of course, you get some rotation in the upper leg. You will not get a full 360 because it will collide with the kind of middle section. Oh, the side skirt did pop off. As you can see, I think this was the only one I had left that was being held in with the tape square. This does not hold at all. For knee bend, very nice inner piston detail there. As you see, you get a full double bend before the armor collides with the thigh. You do have a nice inner knee cap piece here that gets exposed when you do that. These kind of thrusters on the side will pivot slightly. Oh, it's one more thing I forgot to mention. On the original ARC 78-2 2.0 Master Grade, the chest vents on the underneath the armor can articulate a little bit. Of course, that is lost once you put the torso armor on. After this section, I'm going to take this tape off and just plastic cement the cap on. The ankle armor could originally articulate, but of course a lot of that is lost underneath this very large shin armor piece. So while it can rotate, there's not really a reason to, you barely see it. You do also lose some articulation on the foot. Originally, this foot is split into 3 sections, so you get a very nice toe bend. Unfortunately, with the added armor, it is only split into 2. So you get a full toe bend, you get a full kind of solid front piece of the foot that tilts up, down like so. The whole overall foot can also tilt, but it's kind of hard to do so. The whole foot can also tilt side to side, a minimal amount before it's blocked by the enlarged armor. Oh, yep, there goes the back foot piece. This kept falling off. It is kind of loose. And of course you do get some heel separation. It does not articulate particularly far without the front following suit. But yeah, articulation-wise, this is pretty average. It's definitely better without the armor, but with the armor on, it's a little encumbered, but again, I don't think anyone was expecting this to be an articulating machine with the armor on. With that being said, let's get into some poses. So starting in the usual running and gunning pose, here's the full armor Gundam blue color version, just kind of running forward and shooting the double barrel beam rifle to the side. This is just to show that this kit is remarkably stable. The extra added armor is distributed evenly enough, and it isn't too egregious. Honestly, the most kind of unbalancing thing on this kit is one of the arms has significantly more equipment than the other, but even though the double barrel beam rifle doesn't weigh that much, so it's not really at risk of tipping over. And of course, the 360mm rocket cannon on the back. But also, again, that is also not super heavy, so yeah, that also isn't really that big of a danger for tipping over the Gundam. Of course, it has those kind of large, flat, one-year war era style feet, so of course it's going to be able to bounce fine enough. This kit looks great on the ground where it's able to kind of express its weight, although I wouldn't necessarily pick this pose. Again, this isn't a particularly mobile suit. But yeah, it works fine enough, and this is an okay pose that you might want to consider having it in on your shelf, if you can find this kit, of course. And of course, here it is in a kneeling pose, shooting the 360mm rocket cannon over the shoulder, upwards at a target. This is just to show off that while it can kneel, it, one, doesn't look great doing so, and two, I just want to express how annoying the skirts were to get in this kneeling pose. This kit was clearly designed for the skirts to have minimal movement, so raising the front skirt on the forward leg high enough to accompany this kind of raised leg kneeling pose really was a giant pain. It kept popping off constantly. This is something I wouldn't really recommend because one, it looks awkward, and two, it is awkward to pose. So yeah, this is just to cover my bases. I would not pose the full armor Gundam kneeling. And of course, here it is in the air, in a leaping, kind of about to stab pose. I originally had the arm outstretched with the beam saber blade out, about to do a slash attack, which I thought looked better, but unfortunately my booth is too small to accompany spinning around the kit doing that. So yeah, I just have it in this kind of downward stabbing pose. It looks fine. Again, the armor isn't bulking up the suit enough to kind of make it look cumbersome in the air. So yeah, this looks fine. It retains about the same level of kind of, I guess, almost athleticism that the standard Gundam had in its aerial poses. But yeah, again, I think it looks much better on the ground, where it's able to kind of express the kind of heft of this mobile suit in general, which you will see in the kind of all-out pose as I get into the conclusion here. In conclusion, first off, I forgot to mention the articulation section, that the knees can open up. There are two tube missile pods in the knees in general. But yeah, in conclusion, the full armor Gundam, the MSV version, blue color version, is a mixed kit. Aesthetically, I think it's extremely good. I love how this kit looks, but I question how much of that is how much I like the design of the MSV Full Armor Gundam, and how much of it is the kit aesthetically being good. Because again, a lot of those stickers, there are massive swaths of this kit that aren't color accurate, and when you're paying $60 for a master grade, you expect it to at least be mostly color accurate. This kit does not do that. And of course, it's easy enough to paint a lot of these parts in. There are a lot of raised geometric details that are easy enough to mask off and then just paint in gray or white, or it's just the whole part itself that needs a once-over with paint. And once you do that and you get the water slides on and you hit it with a couple layers of top coat, it's going to look fantastic. But again, a lot of this is extra effort that when you're getting a master grade, you don't expect to have to put in to get a color accurate model without using stickers. Kind of the whole appeal with the higher grades beyond high grade is that out of box they look better and are more color accurate, and you have to put less extra effort in to get kind of the bare minimum of a color accurate model of whatever mobile suit you want to look at. But yeah, this kit kind of defies that with the need for all these color correcting stickers. Articulation wise, it's about average across the board. There are a few gimmicks that set it apart from the rest, namely the shoulder cannon and the missile pods on the on the upper torso and the knees. The weapon suite this gets really helps add to the presence it has on the shelf, with the shoulder cannon giving it a little more kind of vertical volume if you have it upwards, and the kind of wide-legged stance you adopt in an all-out firing pose, definitely serving to emphasize the heft of the mobile suit itself on your shelf, giving it a lot more presence. The very kind of blue color scheme is a little unique for this kit. Blue and orange is a bit of a unique color scheme that not many mobile suits have. So yeah, that also definitely adds to its uniqueness on the shelf. The build for this kit is also a little strange, of course, with the addition of that double-sided tape. For the most part, it's okay. You really only want to replace it with plastic cement for those kneecaps. They fall off very easily with the tape on. So, would I recommend this kit? If you can find it not being scalped, because of course the base color for this kit is scalped to hell and back. Like, it's very hard to find that kit for under $120. Again, it's been reprinted so infrequently that the GUNPLA wiki has it listed as discontinued, because the last time it was reprinted was forever ago. So if you can find this kit at MSRP, I would recommend it if you're a fan of the design like I am. Like, I love this design. I absolutely love this kit because of that. If you're not super into the full armor Gundam, I can't really recommend it. The jank of the design with the tape on the knees, the requirement of all of those massive color correcting stickers, and just the kind of hassle of even finding this kit at reasonable prices really kind of dissuades me from recommending it to people. Like, if you're not a fan of the design, there's no reason to go out of your way to find it. It's a really cool kit to have, and it's a very unique addition to most collections, but it's definitely not a must-have, and therefore it isn't really a recommendation from me. So yeah, that was my review of the MSV Full Armor Gundam Blue Color version. What do you think of this kit? Again, I love this design. I'm a fan of the kit, but if I kind of detach myself from my biases, I really see that this kit does have quite a few problems. Alright, so let me know what you think of this kit down in the comments below. If you like reviews like these, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, give it a like, and I will see you next time with my review of the high-grade Tri-Age Gundam. I'll see you then.